Okay, so imagine waking up one day and the president announces that you're getting a $2,000 check in the mail. Just because. Sounds pretty wild, right? Well, that's exactly what happened this past Sunday when Trump posted on Truth Social that most Americans are getting at least $2,000 from tariff revenue. And let me tell you, the internet absolutely lost its mind. So here's the deal. I'm going to break down exactly what this tariff dividend thing is all about, whether you're actually going to see that money, and what the whole situation means for your wallet. No political nonsense, no complicated economics jargon. Just the facts, friend to friend. What's the actual announcement? Alright, so on November 9th, Trump made this post saying that the government has been collecting trillions of dollars from tariffs, and now they're going to send most Americans a dividend payment of at least $2,000. The key phrase here is most Americans. He specifically said high-income people wouldn't get it, so it's targeted at lower and middle-income folks. Now, before you start planning how you're going to spend that money, let's pump the brakes and understand what's really going on here. Let's talk tariffs real quick. Okay, so what even are tariffs? Think of them like a tax on stuff we import from other countries. When a company brings in products from China, Mexico, Canada, or wherever, they have to pay this extra fee to the government. And Trump? He's been going absolutely crazy with tariffs since he got back into office. He's put them on all kinds of things: steel, cars, tech products, you name it. The administration says they've been raking in the cash from these tariffs. Like the Treasury Department reported they've collected over $214 billion in tariff revenue so far in 2025. That's billion with a B. So Trump's thinking is basically, hey, we're making all this money from tariffs, why don't we share it with the American people? But hold up, is this actually happening? Here's where it gets interesting. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent went on ABC News right after Trump's announcement, and he kind of walked it back. He said the $2,000 dividend could come in lots of forms and might not actually be a check at all. Instead, it could just be the tax cuts that were already passed earlier this year, like no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security benefits. So basically, you might not actually get a check. It might just be savings you're already getting from these tax policies. Which, don't get me wrong, those are still good things if they save you money. But it's not the same as getting $2,000 deposited into your account, you know? Does the math even work? This is where economists start having a field day. Let's do some quick napkin math together. If you're giving $2,000 to roughly 150 million Americans, everyone making under $100,000, that's about $300 billion right there. And remember, the government only collected about $214 billion in tariff revenue so far this year. So where's the rest of the money coming from? Plus, Trump also said he wants to use tariff revenue to pay down the national debt, which is sitting at about $38 trillion. You can't use the same money for two different things, right? Experts are also pointing out another problem. When you give people stimulus checks, it can actually make inflation worse. It's like injecting a bunch of extra money into the economy when things are already expensive. Remember those pandemic stimulus checks? Some economists think they contributed to the inflation spike we saw afterward. The congressional problem. Here's the thing that's really important to understand. Trump can't just send out checks on his own. Congress controls the money, and they'd have to approve this. And get this, Congress just passed a big spending bill earlier this year, and they specifically chose not to include tariff dividend payments even though it was proposed by Senator Josh Hawley. So if Congress already said no once, what makes anyone think they'll say yes now? The Supreme Court wild card. Oh, and there's one more twist. The Supreme Court is literally hearing a case right now about whether Trump's tariffs are even legal in the first place. Some businesses are arguing that Trump overstepped his authority by using emergency powers to impose all these tariffs. If the Supreme Court sides against the Trump administration, they might have to give that tariff money back to the businesses who paid it, which means no dividend checks at all.
What about the politics? Look,
I'm not here to tell you how to feel about this politically, but you gotta admit, announcing $2,000 checks is a pretty savvy move, especially when people are frustrated about high prices and the cost of living. Trump's approval ratings on the economy and tariffs have been taking a hit, so promising people money is like politics 101. But the question is this a real policy proposal or more of a wouldn't it be nice if kind of statement? So, what's the bottom line? Here's what we actually know for sure. Trump announced he wants to give Americans $2,000 from tariff revenue. The Treasury Secretary hinted it might not be actual checks. Congress would need to approve it. The math is questionable, and the Supreme Court might throw a wrench in the whole thing anyway. Is money coming your way? Maybe, maybe not. Should you count on it for your rent or your bills? Absolutely not. Could it happen in some form eventually? Sure, it's possible. The reality is that this is still very much in the proposal stage. There's no official plan, no legislation drafted, no timeline for when this might happen. It's more of an idea floating around than an actual policy at this point. What you can do. If you want to stay on top of this, keep an eye on Congress. Watch what they actually introduce as legislation. Don't make any financial decisions based on money you don't have yet. And maybe take any future announcements with a grain of salt until there's an actual bill with actual details. The truth is, politics moves slow. Even if this does happen, you're probably not seeing that money tomorrow, next week, or even next month. These things take time to work through the system. So there you have it. Trump's $2,000 tariff dividend explained, without all the complicated stuff. It's an exciting announcement, but there are a lot of questions and a lot of hurdles before any money actually lands in anyone's bank account. If this breakdown helped you understand what's going on, do me a solid and hit that like button. And if you want to stay updated on whether these checks actually become a reality, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because I'll be covering this as it develops. Drop a comment and let me know. Do you think these checks will actually happen, or is this just political theater? I'm curious to hear what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.